Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. We're back with another package from Hatchet Partworks. It's Combat Patrol. Now, if you haven't seen, Combat Patrol is a weekly magazine by Hatchet Partworks where you get all the combat patrols, which is like 40k light, designed to help with learning the game and learning painting and things. Now this time we've got a bit of a box, as we can see, which I suspect is a new binder because the last one got a little bit full. So we're going to open up, have a quick look. Yep, there it is. So standard binder. It's quite a nice binder, to be honest. The spine is the same as the rest of them, which is a bit of a shame, but otherwise they're good solid binders, good quality. The idea being that you put all the magazines in it. So what we got? 45, 44, 46 and 44 and 43. So let's have a look, see what we get. Issue 43, so this is a tenner, and that's 10 Ork Boyz. It's about 32 quid from the dirt shop, so good value if you can find these in the shops. 32 mil bases, no one cares. Now this is following GW's preference for effectively single pose. There's not a lot of options on these guys, and I do know it hits some upset because you can't have a full squad of combat weapons or a full squad of shooters. It's always going to be a mix, which is a shame. But some lovely detail, like look at this, a tooth necklace. Yeah, it's a shame they great details, but when you start painting armies, they get very repetitive very quickly. So I like this little bionic arm. What's going on? Ah, very cool. Bases, no one cares. Alrighty, issue 43. Again, these come out in odd times, so check your local newsagents. Ask. I've heard some newsagents aren't displaying them because scalpers are going to scalp. How to build your boys. Yeah, no options by the looks of it. How to paint them. I really like these paint guys because, without being harsh about it, it's fairly straightforward and it's an achievable paint scheme. So like your boys should look like this. And that's the kind of paint job we can all do. Now this is a really cool thing. This is loads of story time, loads of little backgrounds you can get, and you can write a name for the unit using the chart we had in the last issue. Build, paint, play. So that's the heavy metal paint job. Now we get the Combat Patrol data sheet. So the data sheet here is slightly different to the 40k one, but generally it's quite on par. Of note, Combat Patrols are set weapons. So using name tables. Ah, here we go. Here's the name table. So you've got your roll d6 twice, and that'll give you the name and the unit name. Knee Smashers, the Punishers. Really cool. Again, didn't have to write any of this, but they did. Scenario. 2 units 10 termagants against 2 units 5 boys. Nice. And again, this shows you like how rules work. So in this, it's working with objectives. Then if you want to swap out boys, the termagants, you can play against different units, which we've already had. So we can see 2 paints, a squishy stick, and some boys coming in 45. So this might be available soon. As noted, we don't know where they fall, because Hatchet are a bit terrible for just sending them out at random times. So we've got Astro Granite, which is a really nice texture paint, and Administratum Grey. So presumably you do one, then dry brush with the other. That's really nice. It didn't have to do that. We got a squeegee stick. So this is like a hard, soft plastic, so you can effectively just shovel it all onto the bases. Quite cool. So imagine this issue will be a lot of basing. So how to do dry brushing. Again, what some might see as simple techniques. It's really nice to have the explanation and to show how it works. It's always good for learning, because not all the people buying this will be advanced modelers. How to put texture paste on bases. How to do them on the textured bases, the ones with texture already. So we're painting and then adding texture paint, which is nice. And shading them and dry brushing them. And again, so this is not like heavy metal standard painting, but it's good solid tabletop. It's a really good quality to see on the table, and it's all achievable with the paints we've had supplied. With the brushes, not so much, because we've only had the one. Gork and Mork, ranged weapons, more story time, rules for aircraft. So we don't get aircrafts in combat patrols, but this is effectively a 40k rulebook we'll end up with. How to sort your army out. Yeah. More orcs and more paints coming. Now the paint issues aren't very efficient, because you're paying a tenner for 2 paints. But the rest of the issues are worthwhile, like 10 Ork Boyz for a tenner. More bases. And that is the exact same sprue. So there you go. 10 boys. Said everything about that. Issue 45. Cold 45. So don't know if this is a repeat, but I suspect it is. How to paint though, that wasn't covered in the last one. So we start with dry brushing metal. Pick out the skin. Pick out any red bits, because red ones go faster. And again, these are all paints that we've received, so this is quite an easy to follow guide. And as noted, like a really solid paint job, to be honest. Boys, so more story time, more background for your boys. Slightly different to the other ones, which is nice. And data sheet. So it doesn't actually tell us what weapons they come with. How to generate army, generate your missions, how to work with objective markers, an actual scenario for the orcs. 20 boys versus 10 termagants and 3 levers, which we had in the very start. And again, you can swap them out for different foes, which they didn't have to do, which is nice. Paints in the next one, and that's interesting. Issue 46, 2 more paints. What we got? Night Quest of Flesh. That's a really nice brownish tan. And Stormhost Silver, also known as Mithril back in the day. A really nice, bright, shiny metal. So I imagine we'll be dry brushing on with them. So again, more information about using brushes and how to use brushes. We haven't received any brushes, but it would be nice. But yeah, this is really nice. So we can see, like, it shows you different techniques on using your brush for like edge highlighting. When to use the tip, you know, to get them edges. Again, it's really simple, but it's sort of stuff that we take for granted, that anyone new to the hobby, and I'm sure people that have not long in the hobby will also find really useful, as well as, you know, opportunity to use some paints that you wouldn't necessarily have bought. For example, using silver as a highlight on gold. Cool. Background for orcs. Again, continuing how to create your mission. And some rules for the Eldar. So these are enhancements, which are like abilities you can take. And explains to you what you do when they kick into play. As well as objectives. And the bit I don't like about 40k is stratagems. So apparently 10th has wound these in quite a bit, but I'm still not massively sold. Save for Chaos Marines, special rules, and Dark Pact. Of interest, so we get 4 a month. Next 2 is a tenner each to get a Deathcopter unit. I don't know what that is, but I imagine that's a good 40 quid box. So if you can get them, great. Yeah. Not a massively valuable month this month, what with the 2 batches of paints, but 20 Ork Boyz for 20 quid. Or even 40 quid isn't a bad price. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Do the YouTubey things, do the likes, the shares, the subscribes. But most of all, have fun.